Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered why your hair feels thinner, less vibrant, or just lifeless, even when you're eating what you thought was a healthy diet? Why, after age 50, does hair seem to lose its fullness, its shine, its strength? Even when the rest of your health seems fine, here's what's really going on inside your body. Hair isn't separate from your metabolism. Hair follicles are among the most metabolically active cells in your body, demanding a steady supply of nutrients, energy, and hormonal signals. Think of each follicle as a tiny factory. It needs building blocks like amino acids from protein, cofactors from vitamins and minerals, and precise hormonal instructions to produce strong, healthy hair. When these signals falter, the growth cycle shortens, follicles shrink, and the hair you see becomes thinner, brittle, and slow growing. After 50, these internal signals shift. Insulin sensitivity often declines, cortisol and stress hormones rise, sex hormones like estrogen and testosterone decrease, and the liver, your central metabolic hub, can struggle to keep up with years of oxidative stress and toxin processing. What's subtle but crucial is that these changes don't just affect energy or weight. They directly impact the hair growth cycle. Follicles may enter a resting phase too soon, or new hair may lack the pigment and thickness you remember from your younger years. Research is now showing that specific nutrients aren't optional extras. They act as metabolic signals that tell follicles when to grow, how to produce pigment, and how to resist inflammation. Omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, biotin, vitamin D, collagen-building amino acids, and plant compounds like spermidine or polyphenols all have evidence linking them to improved hair density, thickness, and growth rates. But here's the catch. No single magic food will instantly reverse hair loss. Real change comes from targeting the root causes, fixing metabolic pathways, supporting hormone balance, reducing inflammation, and feeding follicles what they truly need. In this video, we'll break it down step by step. You'll discover why hair slows down after 50 and how it reflects overall metabolic health, how liver function, insulin control, and inflammatory stress directly influence hair growth. The top nutrients and foods research shows actually support follicles at the cellular level. Simple, actionable daily habits that prioritize hair regeneration without supplements or gimmicks. By the end of this session, you'll not only know what to eat, but also why it works in your body, giving you a clear, science-based plan to bring life back to your hair naturally. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help people optimize their energy, metabolism, and longevity naturally. Let's start at the very foundation. Protein and amino acids, the raw materials your hair follicles desperately need. Think of your hair like a brick wall. Each strand of hair is made primarily of keratin, a structural protein. The bricks are amino acids. The mortar is cofactors like zinc, selenium, and sulfur. If your body doesn't have enough of these bricks, or if it's sending most of them to repair muscles, heal tissues, or support the immune system, the hair factory slows production. Here's what's really going on inside your body after 50. Your protein metabolism becomes less efficient. Aging decreases the gut's ability to digest protein, liver function subtly declines, and insulin resistance can redirect amino acids to energy storage rather than hair synthesis. The follicles are left underfed, even if you're eating eggs, chicken, or lentils. If timing, combination with other nutrients, or total daily intake isn't right, your follicles aren't getting enough to thrive. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine a factory that builds cars. If raw materials arrive inconsistently or in small amounts, production slows, workers sit idle, and the finished cars are thinner or incomplete. That's exactly what happens to hair. Follicles shrink, hair becomes brittle, and growth slows. What the research shows is that protein quality and timing matter. Studies in older adults indicate that distributing protein evenly across meals, around 25-30 grams per meal, maximizes muscle protein synthesis. Hair follicles respond similarly. Essential amino acids like cysteine, methionine, lysine, and arginine are particularly critical for keratin synthesis. So, here's a practical protocol you can start tomorrow. Meal planning. Include a high quality protein source at every main meal. Examples: eggs or Greek yogurt for breakfast, chicken, fish, or lentils for lunch, and quinoa with tofu or salmon for dinner. Amino acid boosters. Foods high in sulfur containing amino acids, garlic, onions, cruciferous vegetables, help strengthen keratin and improve follicle resilience. Protein timing. Avoid skimping on protein at breakfast. Many people over 50 eat carbs in the morning but not protein, sending a signal to the body that hair growth isn't a priority yet. Supplement. Wisely. If dietary intake is insufficient, a small daily collagen peptide powder or whey isolate can supply targeted amino acids for hair and skin health. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help people optimize their hair, energy, and metabolic health naturally. Finally, remember, the goal isn't simply eating more protein, it's strategically supplying the hair factory with the exact bricks and mortar it needs in a metabolic context that allows your follicles to prioritize growth. Combine this with proper micronutrients, hydration, and insulin control, and you set the stage for stronger, thicker hair over the coming months. Now that we've covered protein, let's talk about fats, specifically the types of fat that can actually bring your hair back to life after 50. Many people think all fat is bad, but that's simply not true. Hair follicles rely heavily on certain fats for structure, hormone signaling, and circulation. Without them, even the best protein intake won't maximize growth. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Hair follicles are tiny, blood-rich organs. They need constant delivery of nutrients and oxygen carried through the bloodstream. Chronic inflammation, which tends to increase with age due to diet, stress, and metabolic shifts, narrows blood vessels, slows microcirculation, and starves follicles of oxygen and key lipids. Inflammation also disrupts the delicate balance of hormones like DHEA, testosterone, and estrogen, all of which influence the growth cycle. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your hair follicles as trees in a garden. Protein is the soil nutrients, amino acids are the fertilizer, but blood flow is like water. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish, flax seeds, and walnuts, act like the irrigation system. They reduce inflammation, widen the tiny blood vessels feeding the follicle, and improve the delivery of essential nutrients. Without water, the trees don't grow, no matter how rich the soil is. What the research shows is compelling. A 2015 study published in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology found that women who supplemented with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, along with antioxidants like vitamin E, experienced significant improvement in hair density and diameter over 6 months. Another key insight: diets high in trans fats and processed omega-6 vegetable oils promote inflammation, which signals follicles to enter a resting phase prematurely. So, here's a practical protocol you can start implementing. Daily omega-3s include fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, 3 to 4 times per week. If you're vegetarian, chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts are excellent alternatives. Anti-inflammatory meal pattern: focus on whole foods rich in polyphenols, berries, leafy greens, and cruciferous vegetables. These compounds reduce oxidative stress in follicles. Limit pro-inflammatory fats, reduce fried foods, hydrogenated oils, and excessive omega-6 heavy vegetable oils. Scalp circulation: boost short daily scalp massages, even 5 minutes, increase microvascular blood flow, improving nutrient delivery directly to follicles. This effect is enhanced when combined with anti-inflammatory fats in your diet. Think of this as creating the perfect ecosystem for your hair. Protein gives your follicles the building blocks, omega-3s reduce inflammation and improve delivery, and circulation ensures nutrients actually reach the roots. When these three systems are working together, hair growth becomes not just possible but predictable. This is a subtle but powerful shift. You're no longer chasing hair supplements or miracle potions. Instead, you're repairing the metabolic and circulatory environment that follicles need to thrive. Over time, these small, consistent changes, paired with proper protein intake, lay the groundwork for stronger, fuller hair. Protein and omega-3s set the foundation, but without micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals that act as enzymatic signals, your hair won't thrive. Think of these nutrients as the foreman in your hair factory. They don't build the walls themselves, but they supervise the process, ensure machines run correctly, and prevent errors. Without them, even abundant protein and healthy fats won't translate into strong, resilient hair. Here's what's really going on inside your body after 50. Age, diet, and metabolic shifts reduce absorption and cellular utilization of key vitamins and minerals. Vitamin D receptors in the scalp decrease with age. Zinc and iron stores often dip due to diet or medications, and chronic low-grade inflammation can interfere with folate and B vitamin metabolism. Even mild deficiencies can shorten the growth phase of hair follicles, thin strands, and increase breakage. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine a construction site. Protein is the bricks, amino acids are the mortar, omega-3s are the scaffolding, and micronutrients are the site managers. If the managers don't show up, the crew works slower, mistakes pile up, and the finished product, in this case, hair, is weaker and thinner. What the research shows is clear. Zinc deficiency has been linked to telogen effluvium, a condition where hair prematurely enters the resting phase. Vitamin D plays a role in activating stem cells in hair follicles. Biotin, vitamin B7, is essential for keratin production, and antioxidants like selenium, vitamin E, and polyphenols from plants protect follicles from oxidative stress, a major driver of age-related hair thinning. Here's a practical protocol you can integrate into your daily routine. Vitamin D, aim for safe sun exposure, 10 to 20 minutes per day, and consider a supplement if your levels are low. Most adults over 50 benefit from 1,000, 2,000 IU daily, but check with your doctor. Zinc and iron include pumpkin seeds, oysters, lentils, and lean meats. These minerals support keratin production and follicle repair. Biotin and B vitamins, eggs, almonds, and leafy greens supply B vitamins that fuel enzyme systems for hair protein synthesis. Antioxidants and polyphenols, berries, green tea, and cruciferous vegetables combat oxidative stress and inflammation in follicles. Consistency. Over flash, hair growth is a slow process. Follicles respond over months, not days. Daily consistent intake of these micronutrients is essential for long-term results. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help people optimize hair, energy, and longevity naturally. Remember, micronutrients aren't just optional extras. They are signals your follicles need to activate growth machinery. Combined with protein, omega-3s, and proper circulation, they create a metabolic environment where your follicles can prioritize growth instead of survival. Over time, this holistic approach translates into thicker, stronger, more resilient hair without relying on unproven supplements or invasive treatments. Now let's dive into something many people overlook: hormones. After 50, hormonal shifts are a natural part of aging, but they play a direct role in hair health. Hair follicles are incredibly sensitive to the body's hormonal environment. Estrogen, testosterone, DHEA, and cortisol all act as signals telling follicles whether to stay in the growth phase or enter rest. Here's what's really going on inside your body. As estrogen declines during menopause, hair often becomes thinner and more brittle. Testosterone levels gradually drop in both men and women, which can reduce the stimulus for hair follicle maintenance. Elevated cortisol from chronic stress can further shorten the hair growth cycle and increase shedding. The follicles are essentially getting conflicting messages. Some hormones say grow, while others say pause. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your hair follicles as employees in a factory. Hormones are the managers sending instructions. If the managers give mixed signals, the workers slow down or stop producing entirely. You might have all the raw materials, protein, fats, micronutrients, but if the instructions are unclear, production halts. What the research shows is that maintaining balanced hormones isn't about high doses or aggressive treatments. Instead, it's about creating a metabolic environment where your endocrine system can function optimally. Stress management. Cortisol spikes inhibit hair growth. Incorporate daily stress-reducing activities, meditation, deep breathing, short walks, or yoga to normalize cortisol levels. Insulin control. Insulin resistance indirectly affects sex hormones. Stabilizing blood sugar through balanced meals and intermittent fasting strategies helps maintain optimal hormone ratios. Healthy fats and phytoestrogens, omega-3s, olive oil, nuts, and plant-based phytoestrogens like soy, flaxseed gently support estrogen balance and improve follicle health. Strength training and movement. Resistance exercise increases DHEA and testosterone naturally, supporting follicle growth and counteracting age-related decline. This insight is crucial. Hair loss after 50 is rarely a single nutrient problem. It's a hormonal and metabolic story. By supporting hormone balance naturally with nutrition, movement, and stress management, you give follicles the green light to enter and stay in their growth phase. Remember, this isn't a quick fix. Hair growth is a slow cellular process, but consistently applying these principles, along with the protein, omega-3s, and micronutrients we've discussed, sets the stage for sustainable, noticeable improvements in thickness, density, and shine. If you're finding this helpful, consider subscribing. I share science-based strategies every day to help people over 50 reclaim their energy, metabolism, and hair health naturally. Now that we've addressed protein, fats, micronutrients, and hormones, let's talk about something many people never connect to hair: your gut and liver. After 50, these organs become central players in whether your hair thrives or stalls. If your detox and nutrient processing systems are overloaded, follicles simply don't get the raw materials or signals they need. Here's what's really going on inside your body. The liver is your metabolic hub. It clears toxins, regulates hormone levels, and converts nutrients into usable forms. The gut is where most nutrients are absorbed. If either system is sluggish or inflamed, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals fail to reach the bloodstream efficiently. Hair follicles, being non-essential to immediate survival, are among the first to lose priority. The result? Thin, brittle hair and slowed growth. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your hair follicles are high-priority factories in a city. The highways delivering materials, protein, vitamins, fatty acids, go through a traffic jam caused by liver overload or gut inflammation. Even if you have enough raw materials, delivery is delayed or blocked. That's why supporting these internal pathways is essential for hair regrowth. What the research shows is that gut health and liver function are closely linked to hair density and quality. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the gut can trigger systemic inflammation, which shortens the hair growth phase. Impaired liver function can lead to excess androgens or estrogen imbalance, which also negatively impacts follicles. Here's a practical protocol to help your internal delivery system work efficiently. Gut support. Include fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and miso. These feed beneficial gut bacteria, reduce inflammation, and improve nutrient absorption. Fiber intake. High-fiber vegetables, legumes, and seeds help the liver safely excrete toxins and estrogen metabolites, indirectly supporting follicle signaling. Liver-friendly foods. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale support liver detox pathways. Turmeric, garlic, and green tea, polyphenols, also provide antioxidant support. Hydration. Water is crucial for flushing metabolites and supporting circulation to the scalp. Aim for at least 2 to 3 liters per day. Avoid overload. Limit alcohol, excessive processed foods, and refined sugars, all of which burden the liver and promote systemic inflammation. This is a subtle but transformative insight. Many people focus only on shampoos, serums, or supplements, but real change comes from optimizing the internal environment so follicles can receive and use nutrients efficiently. Protein, fats, micronutrients, and hormones all work best when your gut and liver are functioning optimally. Over time, these changes create a cascade effect: reduced inflammation, better nutrient delivery, improved hormone metabolism, and healthier, thicker hair. If this has been helpful so far, remember to subscribe. I post daily evidence-based strategies for hair, metabolism, and longevity after 50. Finally, let's talk about one of the most underestimated factors in hair health: sleep and circadian rhythms. After 50, disrupted sleep patterns and chronic stress are not just annoying, they actively sabotage hair growth. Follicles operate on a biological clock responding to hormone surges, nutrient availability, and repair cycles that peak while you rest. If sleep is poor or stress is high, hair growth slows, shedding increases, and even the healthiest diet can't fully compensate. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Growth hormone, which plays a key role in tissue repair and follicle regeneration, spikes during deep sleep. Cortisol, the stress hormone, should naturally dip at night. When sleep is fragmented or stress is constant, this rhythm is disrupted. Elevated nighttime cortisol accelerates hair follicle dormancy and reduces the signaling needed for new hair production. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of hair follicles as construction crews that work primarily at night. Sleep is their shift. Hormones and nutrients are their tools and instructions. If the night shift keeps getting interrupted or the supervisors send mixed signals, construction slows or stops entirely. Even with plenty of bricks and scaffolding, the hair factory falls behind schedule. Here's a practical protocol to optimize the system. Consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at roughly the same time every day, aiming for 7 to 8 hours of restorative sleep. Sleep hygiene, reduce blue light exposure 1 to 2 hours before bed. Keep your room cool and dark. Avoid late caffeine or alcohol. Stress management. Short daily mindfulness practices, deep breathing, or meditation can lower cortisol, improve sleep quality, and protect follicle function. Evening nutrition. Avoid heavy late-night meals that spike insulin and disrupt circadian signaling. A light protein and fat snack is ideal if you need something before bed. When you combine optimized sleep and stress management with the dietary, hormonal, and metabolic interventions we've discussed, you create the final essential environment for follicles to thrive. Hair growth is slow. It's a process that takes months, but these cumulative changes are what lead to measurable improvements in density, thickness, and shine. Let's recap what we've learned. Hair loss after 50 is rarely about a single nutrient or supplement. It's a metabolic, hormonal, and environmental story, one where protein, amino acids, healthy fats, micronutrients, hormones, gut and liver health, and sleep all interact to determine whether follicles grow, stall, or shrink. By addressing these root causes, supplying your follicles with the right building blocks, reducing inflammation, supporting hormone balance, optimizing circulation and nutrient delivery, and giving your body the rest it needs, you shift the environment from one that favors shedding to one that promotes regeneration. Think of this as creating a full circle support system for your hair. The bricks, scaffolding, managers, and night shift crews are all aligned to work together. Over weeks and months, these combined strategies can lead to thicker, stronger, and more resilient hair, naturally, sustainably, and rooted in science. Here's your challenge. Try just one of these changes today. Maybe it's adding a high-protein breakfast, a handful of walnuts for omega-3s, or committing to 7 hours of quality sleep tonight. Track how your body responds over the next few weeks. The small, consistent steps compound over time, and your follicles will thank you. If this added value, like the video, and subscribe to join others who are optimizing their hair, metabolism, and longevity naturally. Remember, healthy hair after 50 isn't about quick fixes. It's about giving your body what it truly needs to thrive from the inside out. Your follicles are ready, are you? After 50, the science-backed foods that can wake up dead hair and reverse thinning naturally.